The Munich Agreement permitted Germany to annex parts of Czechoslovakia, Hungary and Poland between 1938 and 1939, a fact that's not included in the official history of World War II. However, this military aggression could be considered the beginning of the war.
Poland and Hungary invaded Czechoslovakia before Hitler invaded Poland is hidden as the beginning of the war, is because it's very embarrassing, because Poland and Hungary were working already with the Nazis in Czechoslovakia. They invaded it, and then Neville Chamberlain comes and signs the Munich Agreement. And France and England basically threw Czechoslovakia under the bus. And they don't really want us to remember that part, you see, but they just abandoned them. And again, if it hadn't been for Stalin coming on the Eastern Front. Well, I think World War II has been distorted incredibly by the Anglo-American media, and that's because they want to diminish the role of Russia and Stalin, who actually defeated Hitler. You know, it wasn't the United States and Britain that defeated him, it was really Stalin. We were frankly on the ropes if it hadn't been for the Russians. Yes, it's been a big mistake that we violated all these non-proliferation treaties, which, you know, occurred in our case under Reagan.
Defeated fascism in the Second World War.
Americans, I would say. I'm not American, but Americans helped out, really. Without them, I think the whole Europe would be speaking German today.
Who do you think defeated fascism in the Second World War?
Americans, along with their allies.
Good.
Who defeated? It was the USA. Like the USA all did part. There were two teams, I remember that. The team of the USA, of course.
Who defeated them? The Americans, that's what they told me. America, that's what they say in the books, that we went over there and if it wasn't for us, the whole world would have ended. With the German, we would all be speaking German, right?
And this is how former US Secretary of Defense William Perry assesses the situation on the Eastern Front back then.
The brunt of this suffering was borne by the Soviet Union. Almost half of the deaths in World War II were suffered by the Soviet Union, both in the Red Army and among the civilian population. And they played a decisive role in the final victory over Nazi Germany. This is something that I recognize. Russia, then the Soviet Union, carried the major weight of that battle in terms of soldiers supplied the army, fighting the Germans, in terms of soldiers killed in battle, in terms of civilians killed in battle. But still together, we prevailed over the Nazi Germany.
George Herring, an American historian, knows the history of Lend-Lease very well. He's written a number of books about it.
It was not an act of charity or generosity. It was an act of calculated self-interest. Did the United States benefit from it? And I think you can say yes, absolutely. The United States did benefit from the war in some ways. World War II cures the Depression as far as the United States is concerned. Prosperity was restored.
And those people were incorporated into the NSA, and those people were, were used for the Manhattan Project and used for all kinds of nefarious things, and some of these people. So, it's basically the idea that we defeated fascism is just false. What we did is we sort of merged into fascism and took it over. And so that's really where it's at. And the reason, again, young people are confused is because they're lied to every day. Historical rewrite ever since World War II, and it was necessary to foment the Cold War against Russia, against communism and socialism.